What's up guys, Jack here, and had an amazing race in the Subaru Levorg. This car is pretty much kind of known as one of the worst touring cars, and for good reason. It's definitely way down on the PI, but it's rear wheel drive, so it gets a good launch. And thanks to TPR Type Rye, who is one of the tuners for the Forza Discord, and just one of the best touring car drivers and tuners there's been in Forza for a very long time. I've known him for a while. Wonderful human being. This tune is shared in the Forzaverse Discord. But here we are, we're taking on the OP Audi in the Levorg, and there's only one real issue with the Levorg in battling at a track like this. The straights are pretty long, so Mr. Brazil's gonna go ahead and give us a bump there, but even though we get a better exit out of the corner, there's just not much we can do about the straight line speed of the Audi. So we're gonna fight our way as much as we can as we switch to the replay cams heading into the braking zone. We take a very wide line into the corner, trying to sweep back on the Audi, because if we're a little bit worried about that straight line speed, he's about 0.3 faster on each straight, so immediately we tuck in that draft, try and get a good run, because we have a slight advantage on this guy in the corners. Might just be more skill related than car related, but we're just a tiny bit faster in the corner, so I try and stay as close as we can in this draft. It's going to be super, super important for me. And the other thing is not letting any of the other cars get too close. The Levorg is a car that can get bullied very easily once it gets off the pace. It doesn't have a lot of power. The power band in this car is literally right into the red line. So you get max horsepower right as the red line, but then it immediately cuts off like 200 RPMs later. So there's not very many chances to really let this car eke its power out. We're taking these different lines in the wet. I'm trying to keep it nice and low, get smooth on the power on the way out. And one massive advantage we're going to have over the Brazilian in front of us is the tire wear. The Subaru is rear-wheel drive, so it's not going to be murdering those front tires as much as he's going to be. So as long as we can stay super, super close and keep putting the pressure onto him, we're probably going to be able to make the move towards the end of the race. But that did say this race was going to be variable conditions, which is a little tricky. So if it does dry out, you want to make sure you can get into the pits, get on those soft tires, which the Subaru can do 3 laps around here, no problem, in the softs. But I think it's best that we're just gonna stay out. No pit stops. This track has such a long pit road that you're better off taking the worst tires by far than trying to make the pits work. So we're gonna go through. We're back on lap 2. Trying to get back into the draft, and he's just starting to pull a little bit of a gap on us, which is not what we need. Unfortunately, it's not looking like we have the straight line speed or the power to catch up to this guy right now. I'm trying to push as hard as we can, but it's just not working out so far. But he takes a very shallow line into the corner, and as you can see, he's still got a pretty big gap, even though we took that set of corners pretty well. But it's going to be a long way to go to catch up to this guy. But now we're back into the section of the track that I'm going to have a little bit more of an advantage. And if he makes any mistake at all, we're going to be able to catch right back up to him and put that pressure back on, which is going to be the goal. And as you can see, he went a little bit wide through the middle of the corner, so we're maybe going to be able to make up a little bit of time. But again, he gets the power down pretty well, and there's only so much we can really do. So we're keeping him within reach. Not too worried about the guy behind us yet, but the guy behind us definitely closed in a little bit this lap. So we just got to really focus up, get the lines a little bit smoother. And as you can see, he's really struggling to get the apexes in the rain here, but we're pretty much hitting every single one of them. And you can see the amount of time we just gained at the end of that lap was a lot. And I'm really starting to find a little bit more pace in the Subaru. So I'm finding the grip, and the track is actually slowly starting to dry out. And as it's drying out, I'm getting more confidence. So I'm going to put some pressure on, and we are back into the draft. After the start of that second lap, when he was pulling away at the start, I was a little bit worried, but you know what? We're back into it. So now we're just going to keep taking these nice smooth corners, trying not to go overboard too much, and hopefully he can make a mistake, get some penalties or something, because it's going to be very difficult to pass him in a straight line. But as long as we stay close enough, we can probably take him when the tires start to go. Alright, it's crunch time, and we are all over the back of him, and we are definitely faster than this Audi now, and nothing feels better than taking a car that's not really the best in the homologation groups and beating what is the best car. And the Audi certainly is up there with one of the best cars. I don't know if Volkswagen just paid Forza a lot of money, because the VW group just seems to kind of dominate every car class. When the game launched, it was the Golf, it was the Audi. I mean, come on. And they're both DLC cars, which doesn't really help. Oh, and then in the S-Class and R-Class, the Porsche 98 GT1 is by far the most dominant thing on the planet, so yeah, it just seems weird that the VH was so dominant in every level of this game. But back to it, we get a good run, and he actually gave himself a little bit of a penalty there. So he went wide, got a penalty. We're in the draft, so now I could just sit behind him till the race ends, and I will be the winner. He has a 1.5 second penalty, but where is the fun in that? There's no fun in that, and that's honestly why I'm not that big of a fan of Forza's penalty system. Because I want to win on track, so I'm going to try and pass this guy fair and square. I don't care if I finish a second behind him and I win the race because he had 3 seconds of penalties. That's not a win to me. So my biggest issue is with Forza is the track limits. Most of the time people are getting penalties when they're losing time. And Forza really needs to address that, because most of my penalties are coming from penalties where I lost half a second to a second of time and I was penalized harder. So yeah, the contact penalties, occasionally gets those wrong for me. Like, I've been hit a couple times and I'll get the penalty. That doesn't make too much sense to me, but it's more with the track limits. That's my bigger issue. But we are all over this guy, and we are just eating up these curbs because this tune is hooked up. Ryan hooked us up so well, so we are all over this guy. And he must be like, what the heck is Lavore? Never even battled one of these. Well, you have now, and it is all over. That was this Brazilian. Definitely gonna go. I hope he got a good waxing before the rain. Water probably just gliding right off. So we're back into the draft, but you can see there's just not much we can do on the straights when he's got the power. But a lot of the times we get a good run through turn one, and we're gonna try and make a move off the inside. Here we go, chance to take the lead again. We're up on the inside. We get pinched a little bit on the entrance. Right now I'm worried he's gonna try and push me wide, but a little bit of contact, but we maintain our composure. Going into the brake zone, side by side, and I already know it's not gonna really matter. So I'm just focusing on getting a nice smooth exit, and I don't think he really wants me to have a nice smooth exit, but he missed it. Did he give me a bump there? No, I don't think he did. So we are side by side once again on the straightaway, and he's gone. Tragic. Tragedy. I'm very sad. There's nothing we can do about this. But we shall prevail. So moving forward into the brake zone, he runs a little bit wide. We get a much better run through there, but again, he's got the power. And it is not something we have, so maybe we can hire Dr. Richtofen or something to give us more power. Because unfortunately, this car is not fast enough on the straights, but his tires are waning. They are not happy. That is why he is losing pace more and more, and we are all over him through these corners. And also, you can see, this track is drying out, which really isn't that good if you're trying to make the no-stop work. So if this race stayed completely wet, the wet tires would have pretty much made it all the way through. But with it drying out, the tire wear is going to be significantly higher as we make a nice little move around the outside. He's going to try and pinch the exit, but we get a better run and we finish the pass all the way out through the corner. But he hits us on corner exit and pushes us wide. He was not a fan of getting past right there. And we make a little bit of contact. I was a little bit frustrated with why he hit me right there. But he decides he's going to go into the pits and make a big risky move there and try to beat me by going for the pit stop. But unfortunately, that's not going to work out for him. So we're going to go ahead and jump to the last lap of the race. And you can see what ended up happening to my tires. They were toast. So we're starting the last lap now. You can see that the track is mostly kind of dried out. It's a little bit less than light rain. Like probably in these conditions, you'd actually get away with soft tires being faster. But we're still on the wets because we haven't stopped. And now because the track is so dry, these wet tires are wearing out so fast. So right now you can see the gap between me and the Brazilian is about, 25 seconds right now. So you can watch as the gap slowly comes down over the course of the lap. But Yas Marina, which is super important to remember, has such a long pit road. You do not want to be making pit stops here if you do not have to. If, like, the worst thing you could do is end up making 2 stops. Because this is one of the longest pit roads. Kailami, on the other hand, is actually a track you can get away with doing a 2-stop strategy if you are fast enough going soft tires with pitting twice because the pit road delta is so small. So we're just tappity-toe-toeing around on this last lap. We really don't have to push the car at all. We just need to make no mistakes. And oh my gosh, that screen is so red. Our tires are completely borked, but, you know, Forza lets them mostly be okay. But you can see, I think pretty much at this point, it's completely bone dry. And I had a slight moment of panic, like, wait, did I put enough fuel in the car? I did. But this thing doesn't even turn anymore. The tires are just so worn out that, yeah. But Forza could make some adjustments to this. In the private lobbies, it's actually way worse. Like, you actually get way better rain scenarios in public lobbies, and private, if you put on variable weather, it goes from sunny to complete downpour in about 33 seconds. So we managed to give the Subaru Lavorg a win with 100% tire wear on some of the tires, but we made it work, and we're gonna bring it around. So go check out JSR Type Rise tune. It is shared in the Forzaverse Discord. I highly recommend you check it out and hop into my Discord if you guys want to do private lobbies and private races with some set builds. With the new update coming out soon, we're going to be able to make a lot more variations of what we're doing because no one's going to have to level up cars. But anyways, guys, if you liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one or on one of the scheduled races we have coming up. See you guys.